Hello and welcome to Rose Plays Season 2, Episode 10, where we're at the movies again. I'm Aurian MoonRose, and this is Shain BlueRose. And tonight, today, this morning, this afternoon, depending on wherever you're at when you watch this, we will be reviewing Hitman, Agent 47. Actually, it's more like to ourselves. I mean,
oh my god, that movie was so boring.
It was-ish, and we'll get into that. Now, for the history, as usual, the cheat sheet. Really, I know, right? So lovely. Our handy-dandy cheat sheet.
Forget the notebook, we'll just have a cheat sheet.
Yeah, instead of Blue, we'll have Peanut, the cat.
They just find your mascot. Where's your mascot?
She's gone. We don't have time to look for her. Maybe next time, maybe you'll see a cat. Alright, really, the history behind this is it's based off a game, obviously, hence why we're doing it. Based off the Hitman series. There was a movie in 2007, which was much more boring.
Oh my gosh, I think I slept through half of that one.
I hate to say it, I fell asleep. I kept having to watch it in parts. So I will...
like part one.
Yeah, I will say this one is much better than the first one, and I'll get into that for the end at the rating. But the thing that I found out, and this might be why it was a little boring, was Skip Woods wrote this. He also, ironically, wrote the first one.
That explains a lot.
So they thought he was so good at the first one.
Let's let him do the second one.
Exactly.
Wow, here's my Hitman to you, whoever you were.
Well, no, you gotta do it his style.
I guess I just like mine simple.
Alright, so the plot and the story, which we're just gonna combine together from now on. Obviously, he's a super soldier.
Made back when Berlin was trying to fight, I believe, the Nazis, wasn't it?
No, now you're thinking Captain America, which was a much better plot. But no,
I just remember it was Berlin.
Well, that's where the guy came from originally, who created this program. It's a bunch of agents
that they made from children at first.
Yeah, they took away their emotions, which is supposed to make them the ultimate agent and enhance things. And like
their ability to survive, their ability to fight, I believe, are the two main
especially things. One of them in particular, which we'll get to in a bit. But anyway, so they get a barcode, they go through this training at school.
And then they get a number underneath.
They get a number. And it's a lot of numbers, but they're usually always called by the last two, and hence Agent 47. Yes.
Oh, yeah. You're Peanut. Hi.
Yeah.
Hi.
She'll have the handy-dandy notebook. Well, cheat sheet, but... Alright. Now, the presentation...
It wasn't bad, but it wasn't that great either. It was good enough that you could expect from a Hitman movie.
I mean, in all honesty, the environments, they were nice.
They were nice, but they're just something you'd expect. There's nothing really big surprise.
I mean, compared to the first one, they stay too much on one area. Now, granted, they moved to different areas, which,
well, they
felt
look
like
the
different
same.
areas. They sort of look
in the old one, it felt like blank. It was always this, and this. You knew what was going to happen.
Now, when they finally meet somebody in the movie, though, there's a garden. The garden was extremely nice. I will give them credit on that garden. Don't remember who, because that would be a spoiler. We'll try. But at some point, there's this one scenery with a garden and this huge railway. Yeah, that was nice.
I'm sorry, I drew a blank for a minute. I'm like, garden. What garden? Oh, yeah, that
there was a few good environments. I like
Singapore the best.
Singapore, yes.
Singapore was really good.
Really, there wasn't many.
But remember the subway? Oh my gosh, the subway, the fight.
Yeah,
that was awesome.
Yes, that's actually a good thing to bring up, because I really do believe that this review is going to be short. Because I mean, the movie was kind of that. Forgettable in a sense, but not fully.
You can remember bits and pieces, but not all of it.
There's some martial arts, there's some Matrix type moves, and they put that into the choreography.
I loved how he bounced off his feet when he was on the ground.
And he went up backwards and I don't remember what the art's called, but there's a certain art with being able to use guns.
I forget what it's called, but I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, we'll stick with the presentation for a little. Though, here's the thing. They made the agents, and yes, there is multiple agents.
They all look the same to me.
And we won't get too much into that, but yeah, the agents do wear all the same suits except for one, which we'll get into in a bit, but, the gunplay, the martial arts, that played a big part in it. The action in it was decent.
It's
awesome.
And but it was just, they seemed like they were over-accessing.
Yeah, they were over-accessing, and you'd look at it, and you'd be like, this is awesome, but why don't I really care?
Yeah, it's like, oh, wow, there's another gun scene, but it was like, oh, God, another gun scene. Look, can we just
I mean, don't get me wrong, it has much more action than the first Hitman movie.
No offense, but halfway through this one, I thought it was great, but towards the end, all I wanted to do was...
Yeah, the ending was kind of predictable.
It's like, can't you give us a new ending? Just one new ending. Please! Yeah. I understand it's Hitman, people.
Beyond that, for presentation, please. I really didn't see many camera wipes or different cutscenes. I mean, at the very beginning, we can spoil the very beginning, because, a few minutes into it, it felt like the video game.
It did. I have to agree.
Hitman was on a cell phone, iPhone.
Yeah, it was just like, boom.
And he's sitting there, and cars are going by, and you see them passing the slide, and trackers and explosions and leading them towards certain things.
Yeah, you wouldn't expect a girl like me to play Hitman games, everyone's told me, and it's like, well, it's a shooter. I like shooter games. I've always been a fan of the story around it. I've liked it.
Yeah, Hitman's got a good story.
Unfortunately, the movies just don't live up to the standard of the video game half the time.
And I think it's just, it doesn't translate well into...
real life, in all honesty. As much as they want it to come through, they're just forcing it now.
Actually, in some ways, what I'd like to see is the lead character, which they kind of did do in this one a little bit. We'll get right into the characters. Have the lead character be the main focus of the story. Have them going from place to place or something. And looking up all his assassination and stuff, and maybe watching the footage or reliving it.
Yeah,
and for whatever reason, somewhere along the way, Agent 47 comes in, and we don't know if he's going to go for this guy or not, but he starts freaking out, trying to hide, comes down to a final confrontation. Maybe we learn that he's corrupt or something, and it shows why, and he kills him. End of movie. Yes, Agent 47 is the main character. What I'm saying, though, is don't make him the main character.
Oh, I'm sorry, I misfollowed that part.
Okay, and that's pretty much it for presentation. I mean, it was pretty much all special effects and goodies, and she likes to steal the cheat sheet, people. Which, this time, I am going to have it.
I wanted to see where we were at.
Okay. We're going to go to music. Music's going to be very short. There was
music sucked so hard.
There was 4 songs total, I swear.
No, 5. There were 5 altogether.
Oh. And
the only one that made any sense or went with this damn movie was number 5, people. Number 5.
Little down on the swearing there. I know that isn't that bad, but yes. Number 5 had vocals, and really I didn't like it. There was this one in Call Me Doll.
Jungle.
Yeah, the jungle. I don't know. I just felt
that one just seemed like it went with it.
It did and it didn't. Damn.
Oh, I'm sorry to use out.
Trying to keep it friendly, family.
Sorry.
But, it slips out. No problem. Most of the music was orchestra.
Which is classic, which I can see in certain parts.
Well, yeah,
but not through the whole part.
No. I mean, it's fine because it's more stealthy. They do that in the Hitman series, so that did feel like a nod to it.
Mm-hmm.
And there was, I think it was a little bit towards the end, there was this one orchestrated music, which I'm like, I like this one. It goes with the game. And she looks at me weird, like, really? It's like, I'm trying to find something good in the movie.
I did. I looked at him like he was insane.
But the music's very forgettable, very meh. So, I mean, there's not really much to talk about on the music.
Not really, not this time around.
Not like Pixels.
Pixels had awesome music.
Well, it was 80s music. Of course it will be. Okay, so the character actors. The first one was Rupert Friend. He played Agent 47. They
got him to play really well, except for the emotional part.
And see, I'll get onto that in a sec with you. A lot of the review sites, because I looked around, they praised him for portraying Hitman. He got the coldness, he got the bruteness. I mean, the first Hitman was like not muscly or not scary.
He was like a slim, bony
something like that. So this one was a lot better in his
or as most people would call him, a toothpick.
Yeah. But yeah, the actor himself, I think, did extremely well playing Hitman.
I agree.
The problem comes, and I did mention this in the movie, was he was bland, dull.
He was so... I know, because the first beginning part, you saw me, I was more interested in my soda than I was in looking at Hitman.
And I mean, that's kind of what Hitman is supposed to be. I mean, he talks maybe once in a while in the game, but whenever
he has something to say, it was interesting.
Yeah, I will say that
drew you in.
Felt Hitman-ish. But yeah, he was dull and boring until, like, midway through to the end, when he ran into one of his targets, which is the next main character, Hannah Ware. I can't even do my own writing, people. She played Katya Von D, which we're just going to call her Katya. She's the daughter of the guy who created everything. And
she's really ticked at her dad because he left her and did all that alternate.
Yeah, but she doesn't learn that till a little later. But she's a much better character. I really like her.
I like how she has the emotion and is still technically an...
Yes, she is. Yes, we can actually reveal that because it does get awful early, and they do reveal it in one of the trailers. She's an agent. She's Agent 90. So as Hitman or 47 said, she's 43, or she's 43 more times better than him.
She said that to him, and she just smirks at him, and it's like, awesome.
Yeah, she was a much better character. I really enjoyed her. Now, those two together were really good. But especially halfway through.
But I will say this, out of all of them, out of every single person to mess with, the one person I would not mess with is her. Because she got mean when you
really did once he started training her, and she was special too because apparently he had instilled like self-preservation. And yeah, she's a little tired. The movie did that to her, so
sorry, people.
But yeah, she was a lot better to watch. Here's the thing though that really got to me. He went through school to learn all this.
But she was programmed with everything.
But so's he, if you remember. They were all programmed.
But she was suppressing it all with meds.
With meds she was, but she never held a gun before, and now she's like, she's like just as good as him.
Because of his training with her.
I know, but it still seems like a Deus Ex Machina.
Say what?
Yeah, it's a term that a lot of people use when just the plot needs to advance, but they don't have something, so they just randomly just say like, "Oh, she's super advanced." So
let's do this.
Yeah, I guess she's probably was programmed to automatically be able to learn all this stuff without the school. But I mean, even in this game, they mentioned a lot that he went through all the school.
Her thing is survival skills. So her just handing her a gun, she's already got the whole thing figured out. Got it to know where the trigger is, I'm trying to think of the word. I can't think of it, but the little pin you pull back, and you just, she's prepared already. She's just handed it, and she looks at it, and she analyzes
the next character, and really the last one, because, I mean, this movie, the characters were bland and dull. I mean, even the main villain
didn't even show up much.
Yeah, he didn't show up much. He didn't feel like a villain. So this seems
more like the villain.
He does, and it was Zachary Quinto. He played John Smith. Now, Zachary Quinto, I couldn't remember where I knew him from.
Then it was Spock!
Yep, it was Spock from Star Trek. When I went to look up to see what he had done in the past, I'm like, oh, he was Spock. And they start him off as a good guy. You really love him. He's really likable. He's like, I want to help you.
Let's find your father. Then it's,
Yeah, then he gets
shoot at her.
Then he gets killed. Like in the first 20 minutes, he gets killed, and you're like, wow. I thought in the trailer he fought Hitman more than that because there was this knife, and you're like, whoa. And all of a sudden, he's back to life.
And we learned sub-body armor.
Subdermal body armor, which apparently is like, he's like Wolverine.
Yeah, he's just injected
not adamantium, but it's some type of metal under the skin.
Literally, Hitman just goes like this with him, and it's like...
He's like, freaky, isn't it? Now, I will say there was a good scene, and it might spoil a little bit, which I am sorry if it does. We'll get back to Zachary in a moment. There's this one scene where they're all in a car, the girl, the father, and Hitman, and they're driving. And the father looks at him, and he's like, shouldn't you, maybe be shooting behind you? And he's like, can't. He's got subdermal
body armor. They freaking figured that out?
That's what the father said. Yup. That's all Hitman says. Yup. I just thought it was funny a little bit. It probably was one of the most duller scenes. But Zachary Quinto, he's got personality.
Yeah.
First, when he's the good guy, you're rooting for him, and then once you come to find out he's the bad guy, he's bad crap crazy.
And you want nothing to do with him anymore.
Well, no. Again, I liked him too, and I said, why? It's sad that I like him.
But when he started shooting Katya, I got mad at it. I didn't want anything to do with him. Like, no.
So, you are one who likes strong female leads.
I can't blame you. They've been focused around male leads for so long that finally have a strong female lead. It's like the most awesome thing ever.
Zachary did an awesome job at this character. The fact that he could just flip a switch like that.
And go from, hi, how you doing? Come here, I'll shoot you.
And I felt he was more of a villain than the main villain. And he was really just a lackey.
Died in a locked up room where nobody did him.
Yeah. He never comes out, and so he's like the hardest contract. Like 13 agents? 14 agents tried to take him out, and nope.
None of them could get out.
Now they don't show that. They just tell you that they've tried to assassinate him. 14 agents
are around him. It was 14 agents altogether that went after him. So each agent that they went after him, they added one more.
Yeah, but they all did die, according to what they had said.
Yeah.
And, okay, I will mention this. I wasn't going to. There was Diana.
Yeah,
the secretary or voice person.
The one who tells him, has the mission been completed?
She, pops up, 3 times.
But she's not really there this time around.
I really don't count her as a character. And really the rest of the characters are just bland, dull, or disappointing. But all in all, the characters, you
can't not like Katya. I will say that, and you could semi-dislike 47,
but the actor, you just gotta respect how he acts as 47. they got
Zachary, dead on. You can respect and you can like, it just depends on who you are. Yeah. Other people just are like, I don't want anything to do with them, or it's like, I don't really care, but I really,
those are the characters you're gonna care about the most in the movie. The rest are just fodder or
villain, as they call it.
Yeah. Alright, next, wow, really? We're at final thoughts already.
My final thoughts? They could have done a little more in his emotional state for 47, because what they did was, I liked the only reason why I liked the last Hitman, the girl slowly changed him into where he was feeling.
Well, see, and in the game,
let me finish, please. And this one, he just almost basically stays completely emotionless. What catches me, I want to spoil one thing, my own spoiler on this.
Alright, sorry about that. We had a little technical difficulty there. It's fixed now. You were on your final thought.
Well, the spoiler I want to mention is how the father says, you and your brother.
Oh, yeah.
So what I'm figured out so far is 47 must be 90's brother.
It's either that or he counts them as brother and sister because they went through the same program.
I don't think so, to be honest, because if you notice when they're driving off at that one scene, he's right behind them. But I literally, if I rate this one. I actually would give this higher than
better than the other one. Yeah, even I agree with that.
But I like it. So far, I like it. The only thing I think they could have done better...
Oops, I dropped the cheat sheet myself.
...was the evil villain should have showed up some more, and so should have...
Yeah, you should have hated him. Yeah. Instead they kind of made Zachary be the one that you wanted to hate.
No offense, but to the main villain, it was like, oh, you're here.
Yeah.
Cool.
You're here. You're evil. Get used to it.
That's what it should have been like.
Now, as to your final thought, in the Hitman games, they kind of hint at over the series that he's different, that he kind of does have a choice, he does have emotion.
Yeah.
And I think that was their way. I think that was their way of, hey, let's get her to help him get emotion. Is that everything for your final thought? Okay. My final thoughts is basically better movie than the first one. I mean, I didn't fall asleep through it. Action might have been kind of like awesome, but at least it was action.
I was like, oh, awesome. Okay, but the other one was like action, anywhere, please.
Yeah, and the other one was like, help me here, people. This one was like, what they should have done was, they should have just made it like an hour and a half of him killing people.
I agree.
I mean, just nonstop killing. I mean, when they did have him kill, I know he was supposed to be super good at it and everything and super awesome, but I swear it was just, you expected him to kill. It was just, how is he going to kill them?
Mm-hmm.
He found different ways to kill people, but I mean...
Which was nice.
He faced down an army and basically took them all out.
When no one was expecting that. It was just like, bam, bam.
It reminded me of the old 80s movies, Rambo, Predator, where everybody's shooting at him and he's just better than them. Okay, so that's really it for final thoughts that I can think of. Now, the rating. Last time I went first for the rating, so we'll go ahead and have you give your rating first.
For this one, because I will admit, I like action games, but I'm not much of an action movie girl that often. I admit I am the normal chick flick girl. For an action movie, for me to actually sit there and watch it and actually like it, I'm going to have to give this one at least an 8. Not a 9 at most, because I liked it. I really did, because there was a good story build to it. But at the same time, it was just like, if I didn't see it again, it wouldn't bother me. It was just like, eh. But that's just me.
Yeah. You, my lady, is giving it a much bigger rating than I am.
Well, also think about it. I'm a girl, and a girl doesn't really care for action flicks nowadays.
Yeah.
And for me, I've always been a Hitman. I think that gives it some leeway with me, like Pixel's got a leeway with you. For my leeway, it's Hitman because I played the video game.
I want to like it. I really do. Especially considering it's better than the first one. So I'm going to have a main rating, but I got to break it down into 3 things. One, as another movie from the Hitman and the first one blowing, this one's good. And I would give the first Hitman movie like a 2 or a 3.
Mm-hmm.
So I would give this one a 4 or a 5. It was a little either under average or at least average.
And he's normally the generous one.
And I'm normally the generous one.
So he's a little shocked here.
It's just, I can't still give it that good of a rating. I was watching the movie and it's like, okay, the story's alright, the action's alright.
Your attention there. Normally when you watch a movie, you're glued to it. But with this one, it was like this for you. You're just staring at the screen and then it's like,
is
the scenery any better?
As a game movie, they've never really been that good.
So that's probably about as good as you're going to get with Hitman.
Yeah, I would give it as a game rating a 2 or a 3.
Ouch.
Yeah. As a movie.
Ouch, you hurt my part.
I know, right?
You jerk.
Now, as a movie, a 1 or a 2. And here's why. Okay, here's why a 1 or a 2. If you just take it as any normal movie. James Bond. Even Spy with Melissa McCartney. I mean, it was a comedy, but It did a lot of spy stuff. I mean,
I will say this right now: you have struck my heart and broke it when you gave it that rating because oh my god,
just
how can you do that?
It's not my actual rating though. It's broken down. But here's why. Who was it trying to go to? I mean, it didn't really have much of a backstory. The expedition.
I didn't really feel like it was trying to draw a specific crowd either, to be honest. No. Oh, remember? One thing we both agreed what was not appropriate was that someone brought 2 little kids into the theater and let them watch it with them.
Oh, right. The audience reaction. There really was not much of an audience. Nobody really talked.
And by the time
But kids. You brought kids.
You don't bring kids.
No. Not a kid movie.
It's not appropriate. I will say that right now. If I had found my son in that room, I would have dragged him out by the ear and told him not it now.
But just as a movie, I don't know who it was trying to hit.
I couldn't feel the main audience anywhere in that movie.
Mm-hmm.
As much
and
as
that's why, as a movie,
I sat there after when the credits were rolling, and I'm just like, well, it doesn't. I know it's not a kids movie. It doesn't feel like a teenage movie.
Well, we're getting close to the end, so we got to kind of cut this down. But as a movie, it was like a spy. It's generic.
It was boring after a certain point. I will admit that.
Like I said, as a whole.
But as a whole, I think it was good. It had its boring moments, but it quickly got exciting after the boring
I'm going to give it a 4.5. Like I said, I'm sticking with between a 4 or a 5.
Can I revise my
as
number?
long as you make it quick.
I want to say that my number won't be an 8. My highest number won't be a 9, but it might be an 8. I think my lowest will be a 6.5.
Alright, so we'll say a 7 for you?
Yeah, we'll go 7. Because
I'm going 4.5. It was
I'm
under
sorry,
average,
I like it, but now
just
that
about there.
You kind of pointed out a few things that I didn't realize until just now that could have been better, but weren't.
Yeah. And so, really, the main thing is, it's going to be more of a rental. Maybe not even that if it's on TV.
Oh my gosh.
Or if it's on the internet,
I swear,
watch it for free.
No offense, but I'd wait for it to come out on DVD, and if you don't like it.
Or probably, I think the original Hitman was on Netflix. Wait for this one there.
Yeah.
And that's going to be pretty much it. So, that's the review. I mean...
I'm Shain BlueRose.
Yep, she's Shain BlueRose. I'm Aurian MoonRose. The next Rose Play at the movies, as far as I know, is either going to be Ratchet and Clank or Sly Cooper.
I'm voting for Sly Cooper. Leave our comments.
Definitely there.
Tell us which one you want us to see first.
Well, whichever one comes out first.
Let us know which one
you're more interested in seeing. Don't forget.
Seeing us do, we'll let you know which one we're going to.
Don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe if you really liked, leave us questions, let us know what you think of the movie. So, until then, this was Season 2, Episode 10 of Rose Play at the Movies. Come back next time for Episode 11, where I should be continuing the Let's Play of D4, maybe finishing Chapter 1 finally in it. So,
yay!
I know, right? So, until then... Remember, keep gaming, never give up, and let's go for a CG Hitman movie next time, maybe.
Just have fun with your games, guys.